Now, when you talk about the Golden Gloves, when you won the Golden Gloves and you were the outstanding boxer of the tournament, was when you won, was that feeling like, well, I've arrived, I can do this, and you know what, I am better than everybody else?
It was a great confidence booster. I've really worked very hard to accomplish that, and it was incredible. And a few months prior to that, I won the U.S. Championships, and I was kind of growing in my observance of Judaism, and I decided that I would not fight on the Sabbath, which is Friday night this Saturday, and the U.S. Championships they changed the time for me, so they made my fight after Shabbos, which was incredible, and the Golden Gloves, instead of fighting on Friday, I fought on a Thursday. So it was kind of just incredible to achieve those goals and still be true to myself and true to my religion. And I do want to say that after I won the U.S. Championships, I didn't go to the World Cup because the World Championship was in Budapest, Hungary, and they didn't take him because one of the fights was going to be on Saturday, so I couldn't go. So it was kind of a great comeback, so to say, to win the Golden Gloves, and then I turned pro.
And it certainly shows the difference here in America. They're willing to make those changes where if for religious purposes, if you can't do something, we'll try and move it and make it work if possible. Other countries not always as accommodating. But let's take a look at the religious aspect. It's a very interesting thing because when you came here, you really didn't grow up as a religious Jewish person, but you did meet somebody when your mom was sick in the hospital who taught you about the Chabad house, and you went, and that's kind of how it all got started. So talk about that relationship and how that evolved.
America is the best country in the world, and people from all different kinds of backgrounds come to this country so they can be themselves and prosper and succeed and be them. So, pretty much all Jewish immigrants came to America to be able to stay Jewish, so to say, and express their Judaism if they wanted to. I always believed in God, and when I came to America, when I came to New York, it was the first time that I saw men with beards and yarmulkes walking on the streets. It was a cultural experience, and shortly thereafter, I wanted to learn more. My mother was in the hospital. She was rooming with an Orthodox lady, and I met. One day I came to visit my mom, and this lady's husband came to visit her and began a conversation. It was kind of the first contact that I had, kind of intimate contact that I had with an Orthodox religious man, and certainly had a lot of questions about Judaism, about God, etc. And he put me in touch with the local Chabad house, local Chabad rabbi. His name is Zalman Liberov. And, it's funny that there have been so many stories written on this man that put me in touch with the Chabad house, and and I haven't been able to track him down
After all these years.
After all these years, and he did an incredible deed.
Being Jewish, and especially being Orthodox, has both positives and negatives potentially in the boxing realm. And it doesn't mean necessarily negative, but it brings more challenges, of course. Like if you're on the road and you're in Puerto Rico, just having to find food that you can eat is a challenge in and of itself, keeping kosher. It's not Brooklyn where you can go find something. So there are more aspects, and you can't fight on Friday night and Saturday, and just certainly the religious aspects that bring it more of a challenge. But on the other side, maybe it brings it more inner and personal feeling that helps you fight as well. So talk about the challenges, the positives that go with being as religious as you are and being an athlete.
One of the major reasons why my parents came here, and pretty much all Jewish immigrants, is to be able to be who they are. I felt that part of my one of the great influences that Jimmy had on me, part of my, so to say, American education was in Star City Boxing Club, a very big part of it. And Jimmy O is an older black man. And he was always very proud about his heritage, about himself, and he was always preaching that, and it had a very positive effect on me. And I felt that it was my responsibility to do the same with myself and with my background. So, you know, when early on, I felt that it was my key to success in sports and in life was for me to get in touch with my Judaism, and you know, I started to become observant still as an amateur. That presented many challenges, and it really would be impossible for me to really continue on with my amateur career because the scheduling is much tighter and much more difficult. You know, as was seen by me not going to the World Championships. You know, but when I turned pro, you know, my promoter that I signed with, it was in my contract clause was that I wouldn't fight on Sabbath or Jewish holidays, and you know, I felt that it was very important for me to do that and to be public about it, and I felt that it broke some social barriers and brought down certain stereotypes that there are about Jews and Judaism, and so, you know, some of the difficulties have been, for example, ESPN Friday Night Fights is a Friday night series. A lot of times that the upcoming fighters fight on. I was never able to fight on that. Sure. And some of the other TV programs that are specifically suited for younger fighters that happen on Friday night, you know, those I couldn't participate in. Certainly traveling has some issues with kosher food and stuff like that. There was one funny story that happened. So a lot of times when you're a 4-6 round fighter, when you're first coming up, you're on at a certain amount of time. I'm sorry, you're on at a certain time on television, and Shabbos was over, and I had to, you know, be in the ring 15 minutes later. So I put my shoes on, got my hands wrapped. Really had no time to warm up. And right before the fight, one of the traditional things to do is you make Havdalah, which is a break-in from the Sabbath to a weekday. And you drink grape juice and you hold up a candle. And so Jimmy O, before we go into the ring, was holding the candle. And first round was slow because I had to warm up. And the second round, I knocked the guy out. So when we got back to the locker room, Jimmy said, you know, what's that thing that you guys did in the locker room? Let's do it every time.
Whatever works.
Whatever
right?
works.
Exactly.
So, yeah.